Data profiling. What is data profiling? It is the process of understanding more about the data. So why do I need to understand more about the data? This it's always a best practice. Once you get the data, do the data profiling. So with the data profiling, by doing the profiling of your data, you will get to know the quality of the data. Okay, whether your data needs any treatment. In case of any error, it will show whether you have error in your data or not. With error, you cannot proceed with creating the reports also, because as I said in the past session, right, it's kind of a garbage in, garbage out. If you have problem in your data, with that problem data, if you create the report or dashboard, first of all, it will not show the data. Okay, even if it shows, it is not the correct data. Okay, that is the reason why it is it is an important step. But though it is an important step, most of them they simply neglect this one. Okay. Okay, as part of data profiling, there are three options are available in Power BI Desktop. One is the column quality. It displays the percentage of valid versus error versus empty data. And the next one is column distribution. It displays the data distribution within the column. So this can help you to understand quickly which values are occurring more frequently and so on. The next one is the column profile. It displays the more in-depth view of the data. Column profile, I just quickly jump into the Power BI Desktop and show you, how we can use these features. Let me launch the Power BI Desktop first. Okay, there is a file called sales by customer which got loaded already, and I just click on the page 3. So the page 1 I use it for some other purpose, and look here, when I click on the sales by customer and if I expand it, you can see all the columns that belong to this table here. And the calculator, the object name along with the calculator, if you see, those are not columns, those are your measures. You don't worry. So in this we have oddly customer's name and sales unit. So only few columns are there. Don't go by this one. Let us switch to the data view so that we can see the data that are available. It's a very small file, the sales by customer. It has very less number of data. So you can see the customer name and unit sold and sales and active. And this is the whole number, and this is also whole number, the data type. And here it is a text data type, and this one is the Boolean data type. And the customer is also a text data type. What I do is I just go to the transform data, Power Query data. That is where the column distribution, column profile, and column quality options are available. We have something called view tab, view ribbon. Under the view ribbon, you will find these three features like column quality, column profile, and column distribution. So here I have already enabled the column quality. Since I have enabled the column quality already. So what happens is, these three values are displaying just beneath the column names. So valid, error, and empty. So here you can see that empty 11%, and here empty is 33% it shows, and we don't see any error here. Okay, there are some blank values. The blank values are replaced with null here. Very good. And let us take a look at this data file. Let me just go and see where I kept this data file in my laptop. I just clicked on source here. Next to that, you have the wheel icon. When I click on this, that one says by customer.csv. The operating system also, we will go and take a look at the file. And here I just go and check that file in that one. And here sales by customer, you open it. So this is what we can see. So your date of birth is available here. Okay, here the column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 is there, and the date of birth is not taken into account here. Okay, let me just go here and use first row as headers, and I just say okay. Now it is available, and the next one is again this problem. You need to move this up. So did you watch what I did? See, by default, what happens once you load the file, right? It'll if you see in the Power Query editor, as soon as you load a file in the Power BI, and especially when you open the Power Query editor, right? So when you select that specific file or the query here, on the right side, you can see the applied steps. We discussed about the applied steps in detail in the last session. The first one is by default source will be there. We don't have to do anything. So the source, you can see something like where the file, right? So which file I used it, what is the file name, and then which folder this file is available. Okay, so this one was generated automatically by Power Query Editor, and the second one also generated automatically by this one. Okay, and see in this case what happened, it considered the first line as a blank value, and then it moved this one, it promoted this one, and finally when I clicked on it one more time, Baron, okay, something strange here. Let me just promote it. Yeah, so here ideally it should come here. Yeah, this is the one. Let me just close this. See, by default you will find the promoted headers. Okay, promoted headers. After I did this, I went to the transform ribbon, use first row as headers. Now the row header became a column header. Now fine. The change type, the data type, everything. This is not required here. You can see the customer name is ABC, unit sold ABC, and the change type here, it is not required. Unit sold is okay. We have to change the type because of okay. You don't worry about this, okay. And what I will do is I will just share this file to you all, or you can simply load this file in Power BI Desktop and try all the things. To avoid confusion, better you can use this file, whatever I send it to you today. Change the type, unit, okay, replaced errors. Okay, here we don't see any error. Why so many steps came up here. Change the type is not required. Okay, because correct. Change type is sales is not the text data type. Okay, that's the reason why it go. Okay, I just say it's a decimal number, and unit sold. Okay, see the data type for the columns get assigned automatically by Power Query Editor. In case you find something like this, right, the text data type got assigned to the numeric column, then you need to go and manually change it. In this case, not a decimal number, whole number. Unit sold is a whole number. Replace correct, add new step. That's all. Give me a second. Someone's calling me. Just give me a second. Sorry. Back now. Okay. So now we are all set. All the look here in the change type. When you click on this, you can see that transform column types. Sales is a type, is a number data type, and unit sold is an integer data type, whole number. This is a whole number. This number is nothing but the decimal value here. So next to the column name, you can see the data type in the form of icons. 1.2 is decimal, 123 is the whole number. This is ABC is wrong here. Again, there is a problem here. You need to click on it here and you need to change it to true, false. Okay, this is a Boolean data type. Okay, the active is a Boolean data type. So I changed it to, I just show you one more time. You need to select true, false. Okay, fine. Now all the data types are correct. Fine. I just look at this one. So we can see that empty is 33%. Apart from empty, we don't see any error here. Very good. I just go and click on view and column quality, and I just select the column profile. The moment you click on the column profile, you can see the statistics about the column. So how many number of records are there? So here in total, we have 9 records are there, and error is 0. We don't see any error. Very good. And empty, we don't see empty is 0 here. There is something wrong here. Okay, empty is 0, but actually we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there, and distinct is 3. So distinct is something like what is it? Okay, we have something called distinct and unique value here. The distinct means the total number of occurrences of the values, irrespective of the number of times it appears in the data set. For example, here unique values, distinct values, nothing but unique values. But there is a difference between unique and distinct when it comes to Power Query Editor. Here, true. True is, we could see some duplicate for true. Okay, but still it considers one value for true. Okay, it takes, in case of any duplicate values are there, it will pick up the unique value. Okay, it will remove the duplicate. So true and false, we don't have duplicate. Very good. So it will consider this one. 2 and 3 is null. Okay, and in this case, 3 distinct values are there. Even though the true has occurred more than once, it will consider only one time. It's something like a person, Baron. Even though it appears more than one time, if somebody is asking you how many number of customers are there, you will not add a Baron 3 times, because you know very well this guy is it represents a single customer. Okay, you will though it appears more than one time, you will still say Baron is, you will take into account of the Baron as one customer. So the same thing. Okay, here the true appears more than one time, so but it will consider only one value. Okay, and consider all the true as one true, and one true, one false, and one null. That's all. So that is the distinct values, unique values. Okay, in the RDBMS point of view, the distinct values like this. Okay, the next one is unique. Unique is something different. This is very specific to Power Query Editor. So in this case, where do we have duplicates? Null, we have duplicates. Simply it ignores. If you have duplicates, it simply ignores. True, we have duplicates. Simply it ignores. False, only one value, which doesn't have any duplicates. Hence, it's considered as one. Now you understood the difference between these two. Distinct, can take into account of the duplicate values also. But even though you have duplicate values, it will consider only one value. Okay, but here in this case, if you have duplicate values, it simply ignores that. That is the difference between distinct and unique. The total number of values that appear only once, that is what your unique. So, okay, now you understood this one, and true and false. True is appearing 3 times. It gives you the count. How many number of times true is appearing? How many number of false is appearing? Fine, this is okay. And the next one is the sales column. The count, it shows 9 records are there. Error is 0. Very good. And empty is 3. Why it is 3? Null. We have 3 blank values are there. Null is considered as a blank value. Just give me a second. Hello. Sorry, once again I got disturbed. Someone was waiting at the door. Okay, we will continue. Henceforth, there will not be any issues. Okay, here the same thing, right? So we can see the distinct values. The unique is 6. NaN is 0. Not a number is 0. Okay, we have something called not a number. So we don't see any NaN here. 0 is 0. We don't have 0 value here. And the minimum is 12 and maximum is 10232. Very good. So what is the average? What is standard deviation? The average, standard deviation, these are the things are available in addition to other statistics, which were the min, max, average, standard deviation. These 4 statistics are applicable only for the numeric data type. Okay, and in the case of active, you will not see the min, max, average, standard deviation, because it's not a numeric variable. You cannot find out the average. You cannot take the standard deviation. And okay, the same thing is applicable for init sol. In the case of init sol, we don't see any error. We don't see any empty value. And here it shows empty is 0, right? So the it's something strange here. But here, according to him, right, we don't see any blank value, but null is there. That is what it considers here. This is strange actually. The empty is supposed to be 30, and here also the empty. Yeah, here in this case 1, 2, 3 is there, and here it is something weird. Okay, and see, I did, I just took a screenshot, and then I consulted other people also, and I just submitted in the Microsoft thing. Okay, and what are the bugs and things, right? If you can also find out, you can also notify them. So here ideally empty is supposed to be 0. So here 1, 2, 3 null values are there, but here, and now let us go and check in the data set. If you see here the init sol and sales, and here I put null here and null here. Here I explicitly mentioned it here. And okay, here, first of all, it is not considering this one. This is sales by customer, right? Because sales by customer.csv. It is not considering this file at all. Okay. Let me see, are there any other files? Are there any duplicate files? Or sales by customer? We don't see any value here. Even yesterday also we posed the same issue. The date of birth column is not taking into account. Let me just go here and we will give it a try one more time here. The home ribbon, I just go and click on the refresh preview. Ideally, I should have done it there itself. What I do is, since the original file and these two are not in sync, the content here, I just apply the changes. So for whatever I did it. Even if we see here, it is pretty clear. 1, 2, 3, right? 3 blank values are there, empty values are there. Here also we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, the that one is matching with this one. The Power Query editor content is matching with this one. Okay, let us see what happens here. 9 rows loaded. It is loading this one, but it is not taking into account of date of birth, customer's name, and unit sol. Okay, what I do is I just reload it one more time and see what is happening here. CSV file, instead of going by, I should have done this because I thought it would take some time loading and all. To save time, I just with where it is date one, and here sales by customer. So that will be easier for us to, okay, here it is taking the account of data birth, but the refresh is not working, something weird. Okay, probably we need to take a note of this one. Look here, sales by customer, the previous one, and the recent one is sales by customer 2. I just renamed this with some other name. old file, something else, so that we can ignore it. Let's not waste time there. And here, the sales by customer, this is the latest file, and here I just remove the values so that we can compare the operating system file and the data which got loaded into memory. We can compare it, and we can see that in the case of units sold, 1, 2, 3 blank values are there, and similarly in the sales column, 1, 2, 3 blank values are there. In the active, we have 4 blanks, and here in the case of customer, 1 empty is there. Okay, fine. I just go to the transform data quickly. And you need to select sales by customer, the recent one. Okay, and if I click on here, and this is my date data type, it is not text data type. Let's not worry about the data bar. We will ignore it as of now. Or what I will do is I'll just remove that. So you might be asking this one to remove this file column. Why did you load it again? The reason is we want to compare these two things. It was not reflecting the same thing there. Okay, probably I would have done the same thing in the past. Okay, fine. So now we have the active column. I just do one thing. It is not displaying, okay. I need to select it more than once. Okay. And here now it shows empty is 5. Okay. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the nulls are nothing but empty. And similarly, when I click on sales, 3 null values. Empty is 3. So units sold, now empty, it shows. Very good. Now it shows, it is taking the account of the null here. Okay, it's something weird here. Anyhow, we will continue with this one. Okay, and the distinct and 6, and let us go ahead and see the distinct values here. Distinct is 3, unique is 1. Correct. True is 3 and false is 1. Now it is showing correctly here. And customer's name is something strange here. Look here, it is not strange. You need to you need to take a note of one thing here when it comes to text data type. In the case of customer's name, it shows 0 error, empty is 11%. Here it says empty is 11%, whereas here it shows empty is 0. And here it shows empty string 1. But it is quite apparent that, of the 9 values, 1 value, we don't see any value here. It is not even showing it as a null here. Okay, so look here in my data set, the units sold, if you look at units sold column here, 1, 2, and this is the one. Okay, so up to this, okay, you need to look at this one. So here 1, 2, 3 blank values are there. For the blank values, Power BI, right? So Power Query Editor, it replaces blank value by null by default. And here I explicitly specified null, and here it put 2 null. It considers these 2 null, whatever I put it. In addition to that, for the other value, it replaces blank value by null here. These are all fine. These are all fine. But when it comes to the text column here, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Till this 9 you have it. So here you have blank value, but here I did not put null also. But ideally, wherever it is null, like here in this case it is null, it replaced blank space. Blank space replaced null here. Ideally, it should have replaced this one with null. But the point here is, instead of replacing it null, it considers an empty string. In the case of text data type, even though you have a blank value, Power BI consider that as a empty string. So this is common in almost all the programming language. Most of the programming language, you will find this kind of thing. Okay, even though you have some blank value in your text data type or string data type, it will not be considered a blank value. It will be considered empty string. Okay, next one is the minimum. Here we don't have any minimum. Maximum is true here. So why it shows maximum as true? Right. So here, see, if you, in the case of Boolean data type, the true is considered as a 1, false is considered as a 0. Okay. Since we have the Boolean value here, true, it is considered as a 1. Okay. So apart from this, we don't have any other value here. The rest of them are text. Hence, there is no point in finding out the maximum here. But 22 is considered as a text data type. 22 is also text data type, and true is considered as a 1 here. And in this case, it will consider a literal one, hence it shows true as the maximum. And minimum, we don't have anything minimum here. Had I mentioned false here, it would have shown that one as a 0 here. Okay. So instead of instead of leaving this blank, if you can probably try with this one, false, put a false in your data set, and then you load it, okay, and see what is happening. Okay, good. So now you understood how helpful this one understanding. This gives you the statistics, quick statistics. So now the question is, okay, what am I going to do with this one by looking at the statistics? For example, you are the subject matter expertise. Let's say you work with Walmart and you carry 18 years of experience with your domain expertise. You can easily tell in the case of region column. Let's assume that this is a region column, and the region column, right? If you see something like 7, which means right, we operate across 7 regions, but actually you are operating across 10 regions, but the value it shows 7. There is something wrong here. Then we need to add some more data here. This data is not the complete data. What we have it in our hand currently has only 7 regions data in it. It is not having the remaining 3 regions. We can immediately find out that one. Okay, and the empty string can help you in the case of text data type. How many number of empty strings are there. Okay, and the minimum maximum can help you to understand. So what is the minimum value? What is the maximum value? So with this, we can see that see the average value. The average is 5,000, and the minimum is 12, and the maximum is 10232. So we can find out that with this we can understand there is some outlier is there in this data set. The data scientists, they use this term called outlier. So what do you mean by outlier? Extremely very high value. And if you see the distance between the minimum and the average, right? So even here itself we can see the data is skewed. The distance is too far. Okay, and comparing to the average and the maximum value, it is double the time of your average value, right? So above average you have a lot of skewed value, and below average also you have a lot of skewed value. That is what you can understand here. Okay, outlier. All right, so we have the even numbers are appearing 5 times and odd numbers are appearing only 1 time. So this is the one we are seeing it here. 1 second, let me see. Hey Vishal, you join now? Not now. See, the that session will be on tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. Thursday you can join it, Vishal. Your batch is tomorrow. Okay, I recorded. Did you not see my video? Okay. So anyhow, I sent the agenda also, right? You just check the agenda. Today for you, not today, tomorrow. Okay. Fine, we will continue this one here, and hope you understood how the column statics are helpful. And this one, the value distribution. For example, if I click on the customer's name, it shows me the distribution like this, right? So with this, you can understand very quickly this customer Baron. His name appears many times compared to rest of the values in the customer's name table. So with this, you can understand quickly which customers are purchasing the products frequently, most frequently, because the more the number of occurrences in your transaction file of a specific customer, right? That means that customer is purchasing it more. So with this, you can quickly make out which all customers are purchasing more frequently, which customers are purchasing less frequently. With this, you can get a quick idea. So in this case, the volume of data is very high, and when you work with huge volume of data, you can see a lot of interesting patterns here. So with the distribution, we can understand the pattern. What kind of pattern? The customer Baron is the one who purchases more frequently. That is the pattern we are able to understand. And when it comes to numeric value, the pattern what we are seeing is the 10 is occurring more than one, many times, right? The value 10 occurs more time than other values. Okay, and then the next one is the sales. So almost all the values, each value is unique. 10232 appears only one time, and 4812. So it's kind of a uniform distribution. This uniform distribution, this is kind of a right skewed and uniform. And when it comes to this one, for the text and the Boolean data type, it shows something like this. Okay, the count for text and Boolean, the distribution will be like count. How many number of times true is appearing? How many number of time each customer is appearing? But whereas when it comes to sales, here also the same thing, each and every value, how many number of time it appears. Okay, but here it shows the distribution pattern, something like whether it is a right skewed or left skewed, something like that. So got it. So now you are able to understand all these things. And for example, if I click on column distribution, okay, I just selected the column distribution now. The column distribution, it displays the data distribution. Whatever we see, right, the same thing it will display here. Display more in-depth view of the column, including the count of the rows, and if there were errors while importing data in the specific column, it shows everything. Okay, you can also check the number of empty rows, everything it shows. It gives the detailed or in-depth overview of your columns. We can quickly spot any outliers in your data. See, in this data set, we can quickly understand this is the outlier, right? So all these values are somewhat close by. This is an outlier. So this is an outlier here. So in this case, okay, it's a true or false. Fine. In the case of numeric value, outlier, you can easily find it. So in this case, the taller bar tells us outlier. The rest of them are almost same. And right, so the which one is this one is 10, and also it displays 6 distinct values and 4 unique values are there. So this one gives us the quick insight. The year, for example, in the case of 1 second, let me just customer's name, in this case 7 distinct and 6 unique values are the same thing, it displays here. Okay, and the distribution, whatever we see it, we can see it here with the help of the column distribution. Okay, as part of the column profile itself, display the distribution, but here in this case it just displays beneath this one. And if you hover the cursor here, right, if you keep the cursor on top of this one, it shows you something more than this one. So remove duplicates. These 3 dots are called ellipses. When you click on this, it will show you keep duplicates and keep errors, remove duplicates, all the things. Remember, in the last session, we discussed about how to keep the duplicates, all the things, right? The home ribbon, we saw that. The same feature is available, but more than that, it is available. If you want to copy this, you can copy it. Those kind of things, you can do it. And then you just remove duplicates, keep errors, and you don't want to remove the errors, or you want to replace the errors by some other value. Remove empty, all those things you can see it here. Okay, so that thing. Supposing you think the baron is appearing more than one time mistakenly, you just go here, remove duplicates, and if you click on this, what will happen is, look here, the only one baron is appearing, right? The duplicate values got removed. But before you remove the duplicate, make sure that the entire record has the same value in it. Look here, baron here, yes, baron is appearing more than one time. That doesn't mean it is a duplicate. If you look at the transaction here, baron, we sold 10 in the first transaction. Second transaction, the unit sold is different and the sales values are different. Hence, we cannot say it's a duplicate. But if you look at only the single column, yes, baron is duplicate, but you cannot literally go by this. Okay. And if I do this, still it is doing it. Even if you select all the columns, it is removing the duplicate of this one. Okay, it is considering only the specific column, and that is one problem with this one. Ideally, it should take into account of all the columns. When I click on remove duplicate, you should not remove Baron. Okay, because here in this transaction, he purchased 10 products and the sales amount is this one. But other transaction, the units sold and sales were different, right? So it is not doing it correctly here. You can ignore this one, but instead you can go to the home ribbon and you can leverage this one, remove rows and all, right? So yesterday we discussed about keep rows and keep duplicates, or remove duplicates. Here you can remove duplicates. You can use this option instead of using the Power Query editor. You can use this one. This is what the differences you should be able to understand. There are some subtle differences. Okay, fine. Now you understood what is column quality. It displays percentages of valid versus error versus empty data. Whereas in the case of column distribution, it displays the data distribution within the column, right? Within the column, what is the data distribution shows. And also it displays the number of unique values and distinct values for each column. And the unique tells us how many of the values are not duplicates, non-duplicate values, the unique. Okay. And the next one is the column profile. The column profile displays a more in-depth view of the column. So this is the one, okay, with the distribution, everything, and with the help of this one, once you enable it, and you can go ahead and do remove the errors or remove duplicates. And if you think in this column itself you have some duplicate, you can remove it. So this is pretty much about the data profile.